Can I use Dimension and Gallery on my flower beds? What's this plant that's growing around my property? And can I use wilt-proof to help my plants beat the summer heat? Folks, I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well, folks, I hope that everyone had just an amazing and very blessed Easter celebration this past weekend. I know I did. It was really great to just sit back and enjoy the family for several hours on Sunday. I feel very, very blessed having been able to do that. Now, that did not prevent the emails from coming in over the weekend. In fact, it has been fast and furious in terms of the number of emails that have been flooding my inbox. So despite what I was hoping to be a slower week this week, that doesn't appear to be the case. But that's okay. We love the emails, so please keep sending them in. I did select 5 that we want to review here today on today's video podcast. So buckle up, everybody. Let's jump right in. The first question is from Walt. Tim, I've been using Preen Pre-Emergent to avoid weeds from germinating in shrub beds, along with plant truss for shrub growth. Should I also use something like Dimension on my beds? Are there restrictions on using Gallery or Dimension on shrubs or flower beds? So Dimension and Gallery will operate just like Preen. It's just that Dimension and Gallery are better products. So personally, if you're happy with Preen and you want to continue to use it, that's fine. But I would definitely recommend that you put Gallery or Dimension in your beds. And again, they can be used simultaneously to prevent grassy weeds, broadleaf weeds from germinating and popping up and obviously ruining the beauty that is your gardens. Now, in terms of any restrictions, no, there's not, but you just want to be careful because like any chemical, if you get it on the wrong plant, that could spell disaster. So when you're spreading it in your garden, make sure, and this applies to both Gallery and Dimension, make sure that you're not getting any of those granules on your desirable plants. Make sure that everything is right on the soil surface. So the process for applying it, just like Preen, is going to be a little bit longer. You're going to want to do it by hand and make sure that you're going in between the shrubs, in between any desirable plants. Now, if you do get some on it, don't panic. Just brush it off with your hand. It's going to be okay. You can also just go get some water right away and kind of hose off that plant. But again, I've used Gallery and Dimension in my beds. I've seen great results, and we have hundreds, if not thousands of customers that have been doing it over the years. And again, that level of participation in terms of using both of these products and having success with it speaks volumes. I would highly, highly recommend you use Dimension and Gallery in your gardens, and I would frankly just forget about Preen. The next question is from Paul. Tim, these are not isolated plants. They infest the areas I seeded in the fall and used Easy Straw. The area I did not use Easy Straw has none of these plants. I used the extra Easy Straw to mulch my banana trees, and the same plants are coming up there. What can I use to eliminate them? So I'm a little surprised that you're having this issue after using Easy Straw, because Easy Straw is sterile, so it shouldn't keep any seeds from the wheat, the barley, things like that they use to manufacture the product. If you had told me you just used straw that you purchased from a local farm, then I wouldn't be shocked that this came up at all, because I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that's wheatgrass that you have growing right now. Now, I understand the frustration, and again, if you didn't send me the picture and you weren't certain that you used Easy Straw, I wouldn't believe you, because again, the product is supposed to be completely sterile. But the good news is this isn't going to last too long. Yes, it is wheatgrass. Yes, you're going to want to get rid of it, but unfortunately, you can't just use any old herbicide on it because it's not going to work. So you've got a couple of options. One, you could just try to dig it out. Again, this is going to be something that you're not going to have to deal with year in and year out. So if you dig it out now, you're going to be okay. The other thing you could do is obviously use some type of a non-selective. It's going to kill anything, but unfortunately, because it does look like it's in your lawn as well, it is going to kill some of the grass in that area, which again, I know you're trying to avoid. So you can dig it out. You can try and use a non-selective. You can also just continue to mow it. And then what I would actually do is make sure that you're putting down something like a dimension in the fall to make sure that it's not dropping any seeds and that those seeds then germinate. The fact of the matter is they just simply don't make a non-selective herbicide that I'm aware of for residential use that you can go ahead and apply to kill the wheatgrass. So I'm sorry that you're going through this, but again, I would really do my best to just pull it out. Maybe use a non-selected to kill, if you don't mind some of your grass dying a little bit, and then maybe try and just do some spot reseeding in those areas. Or just mow it down. And again, if you get some dimension down in the late summer, early fall, you shouldn't have to deal with this next year. The third question is from Donald. Tim, what kind of weed killer can I use on the weeds under our beautiful sugar maple? Thanks for sending in the email. Unfortunately, because I don't have any more specifics about the location of your sugar maple, for example, is it in your lawn or is it in a garden? I also don't know what type of weeds you're looking to kill. Are they broadleaf or are they, grassy weeds? So the specific product I can't really recommend, but I will tell you this in general. Most of the selective herbicides are only going to work if they touch the leafy surface of the weeds that you're trying to kill. I say that because let's say it's out in your grass and you're trying to kill some broadleaf weeds that are around the base of it. You can go ahead and use something like an image, and as long as that image doesn't spray up onto the tree, most importantly up onto the leaves of the tree, it's going to be just fine and it'll be very, very effective. Likewise, if you're in a garden, it may make more sense to simply pull it out by hand and then use something like a gallery or a dimension and put that down in the garden bed, water it in to create a protective chemical barrier on the soil surface to keep the weeds out. So again, in general, your selective herbicides, in order for them to harm the sugar maple, they would actually have to come in contact with the leaves. So again, I don't think you have anything to worry about there in terms of just using an off-the-shelf product like an image, maybe even an old Weed Beater Ultra, something like that. You're probably going to be fine. But again, because I don't know exactly what you're trying to kill, I can't really recommend a product for you. What I will say though is that if it's in a garden, some type of a flower bed setting, make sure that you're trying to use something like a gallery or a dimension to create that chemical barrier. So you can go ahead and pull those weeds out, get that stuff down, water it in, and that's really going to help prevent a lot of new growth from weeds. Again, whether it's grassy or they're broadleaf weeds, I think that's going to be your best bet if that sugar maple is in your garden. The fourth question is from Vincent. Hi, Tim. I have planted a number of chameleas and encoreas in April, and I'm thinking of protecting them with continual watering during the summer months, along with the use of shade cloth during the hottest parts of the day. I'm also thinking of spraying the plants with wilt-proof. What do you think of these options? So the three options you gave me are all good options, and you should be doing all of them. Obviously, watering is a no-brainer. Plants need water to survive. So during those, really, really hot dog days of summer, or, if you ever run into a situation where you're in some type of a mini drought, keeping them watered when possible is obviously just going to benefit the plant. Shade cloth has been around forever. It's very, very effective at protecting plants. Greenhouses use it every single day with a lot of effectiveness. So if you have the time to set it up and take it down each day to protect the plant, you're going to be in good shape as well. Now, wilt-proof, that's an interesting option because it's actually designed for drought-like conditions. I mean, again, it has a moisture lock technology in it, and so it's perfect when you're transplanting plants during the any type of really drought-like condition, which also, by the way, means in the winter. There's very little water in the winter. So when you use it in the winter or you use it during droughts, it's actually going to help that plant retain its moisture, and that's really, really important. Now, if you are actively watering the plant, I'm not sure that the wilt-proof is 100% necessary, but it's not going to hurt it. What it might actually allow you to do is to back off the watering a little bit because you have that wilt-proof and that moisture locking technology that they boast about. So great idea, good plan, and good luck moving forward with it. The final question for today is from Dan. Hi, Tim. I have a hydrangea that I've had for 10 years or so. It's done great for a long time with the exception of 2 years ago when it just kind of dried up and wilted. I cut it way back, and last year it came back great. This year, it seemed to be leafing out just fine, and then suddenly I noticed today that it seems to be starting to wilt. Any thoughts on what this could be? All right, so I'm making an assumption that you're taking care of the watering and the fertilizing. Based on the picture, this could be something like an anthracnose or possibly any type of a bacterial wilt. It's a little tough to say because, again, it looks like it just started happening. So I'm guessing that it hasn't played its way out completely. And sometimes when a disease progresses, it becomes easier and easier to identify. So here's actually what I'd recommend. In addition to the fertilizing and the watering that you've been doing, I would highly recommend you use a product called Complete Disease Control by Monterey. It's a very effective disease control product for plants, and anthracnose is one of the diseases that will actually help prevent and cure if you, in fact, have it. So I'd head over to rosensonline.com and pick up some Monterey Complete Disease Control. It's a very, very effective product. We have it actually in a couple of different sizes. I think one is a ready-to-use spray, and then we have a small size and a large size. So again, not sure how much you need if it's just the one plant, but again, we've got it over at Rosens Online. I would definitely pick that up and put it down ASAP. The other thing that I would just want to remind you to continue to use if you're not is something like a kickstart. All right, a kickstart is going to strengthen the roots of the plant, and a plant that has a really strong root system has an easier time fighting off diseases. So if you're not using kickstart, I would definitely make sure that you mix that in. And then again, both products are available over at rosensonline.com. All right, folks, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. Folks, going on right now over at rosensonline.com is our annual Spring Garden Special. Now, this again is a combination of Plant Trust, 3 bags of Garden Trust, and a bottle of Kickstart. And folks, this is everything that your garden, your trees, and your shrubs is going to need to look great in the spring and into the summer. So again, with it being after Easter, Memorial Day is just around the corner. Picking up the Spring Garden Special is going to be a great way to get a jump start on maintaining and taking care of all of the plants, trees, and shrubs, flowers that you have going on right now in your gardens. Folks, I also want to remind you that you can still get down Dimension. Sure, we ended the Turf Trust Triple Play on Saturday, but again, you can still pick up some Dimension, and again, you still want to put it down right now. We are still within that window where it's a very effective product. So if you haven't put down Dimension in your lawn, make sure you head over to rosensonline.com and pick up Dimension. Pick up as many bags as you need. We've got a lot of them. It's one of our most popular products, so we always have it in stock. Folks, I do want to remind you that you can send your questions directly to me, Tim, at rosensonline.com. I know some people like to use the web form for questions out there, and that's completely fine. You can go ahead and use that, but I'm always going to be the one that responds because that's part of my job. So again, send an email directly to me, Tim, at rosensonline.com, and I promise that if I receive your email, I will get back to you. Folks, I really do hope that you guys had a blessed Easter weekend, and I hope that your rest of the week here is equally blessed. Thank you so much for all the time that you spent with us today. It really does mean a lot. God bless.